Welcome to this video. My name is Rajveer, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about how you can remotely control, manage, and troubleshoot your edge device using a very tiny agent, which is low power, can be installed in few minutes, and it's easily scalable. All right. So let's understand a typical scenario first. Let's say we have a shop floor setup where I have a PLC, which is controlling some application. Let's say we have a pick and place application or process control application. So this is a very typical scenario. And then you have some HMI to read the data. Most of the time, you also have some edge device so that you can do some data analytics. So that's a very typical scenario. So here, what I have edge device as Revolution Pi and Siemens S7-1500 on my table, which are communicating, and the edge device is taking data out of the PLC. So my PLC has some variables that I'm monitoring, its temperature and level, and I can show you that here. So I have some temperature and level being controlled in the PLC. It's just a very simulated example. And I'm using Revolution Pi, which is having a Node-RED inside, to pull the data using S7 communication, and I'm showing that on the dashboard. It's a very typical application. You might have come across this many times. Now the question is, once you have this application, how would you like to monitor that remotely? There are many solutions on the market. You might have seen my earlier videos where I'm talking about monitoring Node-RED instances. But sometimes you need solution beyond Node-RED. Sometimes you need to maybe update the firmware of your edge device. You need to install extra software, extra patches, extra packages on your edge device. You need to restart the edge device. So there are a lot of control and management features that you need to have in your architecture. So let's imagine we are talking about remote monitoring and controlling of one edge device. But what if we have 1,000 edge devices spread across different countries, different plants, and different locations? Okay. And what about if your device needs a software patch immediately? How can we do that? We know that there is a possibility to connect to the device via VPN or static IPs, but what if your device has no static IP? Connecting via VPN sometimes is a big headache. I'm talking with experiences. And what if you need to install some Docker containers, shell scripts, and flow files on your edge device spread multiple locations? So is there any solution for that? Any quick solution that you can think of? If not, let me introduce you ThinEdge. ThinEdge from Cumulocity. ThinEdge is an open edge framework for lightweight IoT devices. So if your IoT device has a very less memory, it can work on that. It just needs low CPU power. It needs less than 16 megabyte of memory to install. I'm going to show you step by step how you can do that. So stay tuned in this video. And this ThinEdge is kind of like an agent that you need to install on your edge device. And it not only publishes the data to the cloud services like AWS, Cumulocity, or Azure, it also allows you to remotely monitor and troubleshoot your edge device. All right. You can do configuration management. You can do firmware management. You can do software management, which means if you need to install some extra softwares on your edge device, you can do that. If you need to change the configurations of your edge device, you can do that. If you need to update the firmware of your edge device, you can do that. You can do all of these things in a very secure way because this communication supports X509 certificate. And the communication between ThinEdge and Cumulocity, Cumulocity is an IoT platform where we push the data, is via MQTT. So you might be aware of that. So this ThinEdge has been programmed using C and Rust, which makes the communication way faster. All right. We will see step by step how we can install ThinEdge on my Revolution Pi and how we can deploy the packages. And before we continue, this is easily scalable. You can have multiple devices on Cumulocity. You can set up multiple devices and you can manage that in bulk. All right. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can sign up for Cumulocity. Nothing fancy in that. You can just sign up super easily. You can install ThinEdge on Revolution Pi. So I will show you step by step how you can do that, how we can send the factory measurements, how we can send alarms, and how we can remotely access the device via SSH and Passthrough method, or how you can deploy some software repositories like Node-RED flows on the fly. Okay, so all these things we're going to see step by step. If you have a Raspberry Pi or Revolution Pi or any other edge device that you want to try with me in this video, pause the video, bring your edge device. We're going to do that together. Okay, it's quite similar for any other edge device. All right, so let's begin. Sign up for Cumulocity. So you can go to cumulocity.com and you can sign up for a free account. So you can click on this button try for free, and we can sign up this form, and then you will have a unique link. So once you sign up, I believe you get some 30 days trial period, if I'm not wrong, and you will get a unique link. So once you go to this link, it will something look like that. Okay. So my unique link is rajveer.eu-latest.cumulocity.com. So you have this link. This is the access to your dashboard. Okay, this is the step one. So I will not sign up again. I already have signed up, and when I sign in, I get this link. This is your tenant ID. Remember that. This is a very important link. This is a tenant ID, which we will use when we are installing ThinEdge in our edge device. All right, so this was the step one, sign up. Second is install ThinEdge on Revolution Pi Connect 4. Now, in Revolution Pi, I have a documentation which gives you step-by-step approach to install ThinEdge. So if you're using Raspberry Pi, I'm sure this is more or less same. But if you have any other edge device, you can just try that as well. If it doesn't work, there might be slight changes in that. Okay, so let's see the first step. You need to power up your edge device. My device is on my table. It's powered up. It's connected to the internet, which is very important. And it is in my network. I can access that. So if I have to show you how I can access it, I have this tool, which is called Smarty, or you can also use another tool, which is Putty. And in this tool, I can show you my Revolution Pi is accessible. All right, I've already logged in with my ID and password, which you need to know when you are connecting to your edge device by SSH connection. This is the first step. So make sure you have access to your device. Now, first thing first is you have to update and upgrade your system. Super easy command. I will just copy that and I will paste here. So it will just update my system and it will upgrade as well. This is the first step usually you do when you're installing a new software. And once it's doing, I can show you the next step. You need to install necessary package for OPCUA and MQTT. Usually, I'm not going to use OPCUA, so I'll just install MQTT on my Revolution Pi. Actually, I have already installed that, so maybe you'll see a message that it's already installed. Okay, it says it's already its newest version. So in case if you don't have, you can install newest version of MQTT. All right, now next step is super easy, download and install ThinEdge clients. In this case, I'll just copy this command and I go back to my Smarty and paste it. That's it. Just copy paste and it will do its work in the background and it will install ThinEdge agent in your Revolution Pi. And here now the next step is configuration of this ThinEdge IO. Now you can see that here we have a URL. This is important, and this is the URL I told you. It's a unique ID. We call it tenant ID, and you can get this from here. So this is my unique tenant ID. I need this one to configure my ThinEdge agent. So I can just copy this syntax, come back here. All right, it's still installing. Let's take some more minutes. Okay, now we are done. Now the next step is to configure this ThinEdge IO. I'll just paste that here. And I replace this with my tenant ID. This is rajveer.eu-latest.cumulocity.com. This looks good. Let's press enter. Now this has been configured. Now next step is we have to create and upload certificates. Like I was telling you, it is secured by X509 certificate. So I can create that. In this case, I need a serial number of my device. Okay, so I'll just copy this command and paste here. And serial number, I know by heart by doing multiple trials. It was 100-380. So this will create a certificate. All right. Now we have to upload the certificate. So you need to copy another command. And here you have to change this with your username of your Cumulocity account. Okay. So here, don't be confused. My username is just my name without the email address. Okay, this was just Rajveer. If you create your account with your name @blah-blah-blah.com, don't use @, just use your username. So now it will ask you for the password for your Cumulocity account. So when you sign up for the Cumulocity account, you have a username. Mine was Rajveer, and then you have to enter the password. So I will enter my password. Now it says certificate uploaded successfully. So now it has built the connection with Cumulocity and your edge device. Now, next step is start the ThinEdge IO client. I will copy this one and paste it here. This will start my client, and you should see some green ticks. Very important. Looks great. I am already connected to the client. So now my edge device and Cumulocity are already talking. Okay. Now it says send test some measurements. If you want, you can do that. Otherwise, you can just leave it like it is. All right. So this was about how you can install Thin Edge in your Revolution Pi. Now, if I go to my Revolution Pi and sorry, in my Cumulocity, so once you log in, you can go here to this menu and go to Device Management. And once you are in the device management, you will see here you have all devices. You can access from here or also from the left side. And here you can see your device is registered. Okay, this is done with the steps that we were doing in Revolution Pi. It has already made the connection, and my device name is here. This is my serial number of the device. So you can see that device is there. Device is already talking to my Cumulocity Cloud. Okay, that was super easy. Just some commands, copy paste. It's doing its own work. Let's go back to the presentation. So we have seen how we can sign up for Cumulocity. We have seen how we can install Thin Edge on Revolution Pi Connect 4. That's my hardware. Now, next step is send factory measurements. All right. Now, how to send the factory measurements. So just to let you know, Cumulocity and Thin has a beautiful documentation. And you can read that documentation. You will find all your answers before you contact the support. All right. So if you see, I have this documentation for Thin Edge. This documentation you can find if you just go to thinedge.io and just click on docs here, you will get to this page. All right, so I have already opened it here to the correct page that I need for sending the data. So what we need to do, so this page was Revolution Pi, we don't need that. I can close it, and I can close this one. Now we need to send the data to the cloud. So if you see here, we have this data coming from the PLC, and it has been stored in a flow variable. So if I show you here, you can see in the context data, I have this flow variable where I have this data coming in. All right. This data, I need to send it to now Cumulocity Cloud. So in this case, what I need to do is, let's just bring this over here. And I take an inject node. Okay. Now, inject node is going to first read from this flow variables. So I'll take a function node, and I open this. Let's call it temperature. And I will take a variable, rtemp. It's going to read flow.get. You know this function, not a rocket science here, and something like this. So my flow variable is now in rtemp. And just to make it easy, because if you remember, or if you see the data model, it mentioned here that your value should be either integer or floating number. This is very important. Otherwise, you'll be troubleshooting what's going on. And my values right now is in string. So I have to convert that into numbers. So I'll just put number here. And now I have the correct format. Now I will take message.topic. Now the message.topic, you can see in the data model again, has this as the syntax. For measurements, I will use M, okay? So here you can just copy that, and measurement type, I will use environment because I want to show my data over here, all right? So I will go to my Node-RED again, and I will put double quotes and change this measurement type to environment, okay? And put semicolon here. Now I will check my message.payload, and that should be equivalent to rtemp. But the message payload also has a specific syntax, which is the JSON format. So I have to use a JSON format here. I will open and close the bracket, take my key as temperature, and its value rtemp. Now this should work. So just make sure your value is in integer or float, okay? So click on done, and now this is my temperature value. I will set the timestamp interval of 1 second. And now, because I have already installed MQTT in my Revolution Pi, this is already talking to Cumulocity IoT Cloud. So I just take MQTT out node and set up for a default broker settings. This is localhost 188.3. This is already installed in Revolution Pi, and that is already sending the value to Cumulocity IoT via Thin Edge. Okay, Thin Edge is doing all the magic. So just connect these two guys together, click on deploy, and now, oh, some problem, I did not select that. Okay, deploy again, and now this should be coming now to our cloud. So let's refresh that and see if it's working. So there you go. We have a temperature graph automatically created. You didn't have to set up this chart function. Automatically created. And here you can see some analytics by default. I can see last minute data, last hour, last day, week, and I can also check the time if I needed some specific time frame data. So now you can see that temperature value is decreasing, coming so fast in your cloud. Similarly, what I can do is I can just copy paste this one. Instead of temp, I can write here level. And because my level is also here, I can rename that our level, copy this one, paste here, paste here. Let's call it level. Click on done and bring this together. Deploy. That's it. And now if you refresh here, you will see another chart. Fraction of seconds you have two data coming in. All right. All right. So this is how you can push your data from your edge device to the cloud. And you can see that how easy it is. Okay. And now this was about sending the telemetry data. So if you see, come back to our presentation, we have seen how you can send the factory measurements. So based on what you want to show in your cloud, you can send the value, but in a specific format, specific topic. You can also create some child devices. I will not talk too detailed in that. For example, if your PLC has several processes, needs to be controlled and monitored. So you can categorize the process into child data. In this case, instead of sending that to your main environment, to the main device, you can send that to a child with a child ID. And child ID, you will see that it's here, child 01. Okay, so we can use child ID as well just to categorize your data. Okay, so we have seen how you can send the data quickly to the cloud. Next step is we send the alarms. This is very easy because you just have to send a signal and you can configure or you can manage your alarms on the cloud. You can acknowledge the alarms, you can clear the alarms, you can see the timestamp when the alarm has arrived. All right, this makes it very easy. And you can also create a smart rule. You can also send an email automatically when you have an alarm. All right, so let's see how we can do that. In this case, if you see in my node, right, I have just optimized the flow a little bit. And you can see in my dashboard, I have an LED which shows an alarm. So the alarm is coming when the level is more than 75% or if the temperature is more than 75 degrees centigrade. It's just a situation I've created. If the level is more than critical level, which is 75% or 75 degrees centigrade, we have an alarm. Okay, so this alarm signal, I can now send it to the cloud with a specific topic. It's very easy to use. So here I'm getting my alarm signal, and I have created two link nodes. Okay, these links I'm going to use here. So I will take a link in and another link in. So one I will take for high temperature and another one for high level. So this is just a Boolean signal coming true and false. Okay, so if the alarm is true, we get true. If the alarm is false, we get false as a Boolean signal. Now we'll take a function node here. Now, inside this function node, I will just call it high temperature. This is my high temperature alarm. Here I have to use some specific topic. Okay, so first I will compare if my message.payload is true, then I create a JSON. Now here I can again go back to my data model and I can check for the alarm. So here you can see I have alarms and it has a specific topic and specific payload. All right, so let's copy the topic first. And in this topic you can see that we have again my thin edge device main, but here now we have A. This defines it's an alarm. And then you have alarm types. There are different types of alarm. You can see in the severity you have critical, major, minor, or warning. So we can use any of these two. So let's just copy this first as our topic, and I put here message.topic is equivalent to alarm type. We can take critical. All right. And then comes message.payload. This again is in a JSON format. Okay, you can see the format is here. We have this text. We can copy that. It says temperature is very high. Okay, let's just take this one. Temperature is very high. This is my alarm when the signal is true. And then I can take this out and return the message inside. And I say if the signal is false. Okay, this is for true, and if it is false, or you can also just take an else statement, doesn't matter. Here now I will take it as an event. If the signal is false, I want to say temperature is stable, which is not a warning, which is not an alarm. This is an event. For the event, I can change this A to E. And this is my event for temperature, so I will put here temperature. And this you can also find in our documentation. You have also here events. Okay, so for that you use E, and then you also use the text. Rest is optional. You can use a timestamp, or you can use any other value if you like. So here we have just took an event, temperature is stable, click on done, and this I can give it to my MQTT. And similarly, I can copy paste this one. I can use it for level as well. Here I can use alarm. Here I can use, let's say, major, another category, just to see level is very high. You can put an exclamation mark here. And this is an event for the level, and I can say level is stable. So when the level is less than 75%, it will be stable. That's it. You just have to be careful about the topics that you're using and the syntax of your message. And one more thing, before I send it directly to MQTT, I would like to filter that, because I don't want this alarm to come continuously. If the value is above 75, it should not keep on triggering the alarm. It should just come once. So I can take a filter node, and I can say uncheck this topic, and it will keep it by default block unless value changes. And I do not want to apply separately for each topic, because I have a topic of event and alarm. So I will just disable that. Copy paste it, and rest is same. Just connect this together to the MQTT out node, and now your alarm should be visible. Super easy. Now you can see that. Right now, let's go to the alarm. Level is very high. We already have an alarm because level is high. So you can see that we have an alarm here. And if you click on that, you will see its severity, which is minor, type was major, and from here you can acknowledge the alarm, and you can also clear the alarm. So when you acknowledge, you can also see timestamp, what time it was acknowledged, what time it arrived, and then you can clear it, what time it was cleared. So you have all these things already pre-configured in Cumulocity. How easy it is now to configure your alarm, to manage your alarms, and you can create a smart rule which will help you to send an email when you have an alarm coming, all right, or some other conditions as well. This was the alarm coming for the level, and now if the temperature is increasing, you will also have an alarm. One more thing, as soon as the alarm goes off, we should have an event that we can see here. If you go to the event, you can see that level is stable and temperature is stable. So we have these events coming in as well. So one more time, now if the temperature goes above 75, you will also have an alarm for the temperature. We have seen for the level, we will see for the temperature. So this is just the way to send your alarms to your cloud. Okay, on the cloud you have pre-configured widgets where you can visualize these alarms. So let's see one more time. Above 75, we should have an alarm for temperature, and here again for levels. So here right now we have, oh, there you go, temperature alarm is here already. Now the level alarm should also be here. Let's just refresh that. You can see that now level alarm is here. And if I do not clear this alarm, if I do not acknowledge this alarm, you will see the number of occurrence, how many times this alarm was there. Okay, if nobody's checking that, it will show you that, yeah, here a number, how often this alarm is coming. Okay, so this is how you can visualize the alarm. One more important part, if you go to the info, here you can also add some widgets for the alarm. For example, it's already having here active critical alarms, but I have to configure that here. And here you have device and communication. So I can edit my widgets, go inside my alarm, go inside the edit, and here I can show which alarms I want to show. So I can say I want to show everything. And this is my Revolution Pi. Here, click on Save. Now you can see that alarm is on your main window. Super easy. Similarly, I can select the data points that I want to show here. I can say, okay, I want to show my Revolution Pi. Let me see if I can see here, add data points. And here you can see you have your level, your temperature. Click Add and click Save. And now you can see your data is coming here as well. So on the one page, you can see your measurement value, you can see your alarm, and not only that, you can see some more customized information. For example, I want to send the information of my PLC. Okay, this I can also do that. So in this case, I will take one inject node, and I take one function node, and let's just take it here, then we have more space, and I will just copy paste this node, and this I just want to send once. So inject it only once, and then I can send this value. So what value I want to show? I want to show about my PLC type and PLC IP address, for example. So in this case, the message topic will be the twin. This is a digital twin, kind of like digital twin of my physical process I want to show on my dashboard. So I can just copy the information I was playing around with before. This will be sent via MQTT. So here you can see that my message topic is TE device main, and instead of alarm or event, I write twin, and I define PLC as my tag. Okay. And the payload is my name, which is the PLC name, and then the IP address. You can also define more key here. You can also define the location from where these values are coming. You can define the country and things like that. But I'll just show you these two information. Click on done, and first you just deploy it once here. So I just deployed it once. I go back to my Cumulocity, and now I can add a widget, go to my asset property, and here now I can see my property because I've already sent that to my cloud. So you can click on add property and just search your PLC, and you will see your IP and name are coming. This is coming because I send this from here, name and IP with the PLC. So this will be automatically reflected here. I can select everything here, and I don't need this name, ID, and type. Click on save, and now you can see your information is here. Your PLC IP address and your PLC name. Super easy. So now you can also monitor how many PLCs are connected to your edge device directly on your main board. So I'm just showing you various possibilities to show the data on your cloud. If you go and add widget, you can see you have alarm list, application, asset property, data point graphs. You can have some gauges here, some linear gauges, KPIs, maps, pie charts. So a lot of possibility to show your data the way you want. Okay, some traffic light zero. So this was about how you can visualize alarms, send factory alarms to the cloud. So this is not a rocket science. We are just sending a value via MQTT to a certain topic. Now comes interesting part, how you can remotely access your edge device via SSH. This is actually very easy. Because your thin edge is working in the background, we can directly go here to the remote access. So let's just first save it. You can go to remote access and create some endpoints. I click on the add endpoint, and you can see that we have various possibilities like VNC, SSH, Telnet, and Passthrough. I'll just talk about SSH and Passthrough. Select this SSH mode. You can type here SSH or any name that you like. Protocol is by default SSH. Host address is the same. Port address will be the same. The only thing that you need to enter is your ID and password. So in this case, my ID is pi. Password is, I enter here and I click on save. Now, once you click on connect, it will build the SSH connection, and you will see fraction of second. It says connection was established successfully. It's via the proxy, and you will be able to log into your Pi. There you go. We are logged in via SSH, and now if I just type cd /, I can access the root directory. So here you have the root directory. You can go inside wherever you want and just do your SSH stuff, right? Whatever you want to do with that. So this is one way to access this. Another way is, let's say I want to monitor from my Cumulocity account the dashboard or the editor directly. How can I do that? In this case, it's very easy. Just take another endpoint. This time, select the pass-through. And here, I will type Node-RED. Okay, the syntax is very important if you are connecting via HTTP or HTTPS. I will take HTTP, colon, and then I can just put the name. I will say it's my Node-RED editor. Let's focus on the editor first. Now, my Node-RED, it's very important, is running on the port 1881. So you have to check the port. By default, it's 1880 in many cases. So in my case, it's 1881 for some reason. So I will put this port 1881 and click on save. And now this should open up the connection. So when you refresh your window again, you will see on the left side, you have Node-RED editor. So click on that, and it will automatically bring the Node-RED editor as an iframe into your browser. Super easy, right? And now you can do changes here. You can, if you like, you can change the value. Temperature is very high. And please take care, whatever you want to do. Click on done and deploy. So it is automatically deploying it to your edge device remotely. So cool is that. And now I'm going to show you how we can visualize the dashboard. So your first reaction will be, okay, let's click on this button to get the dashboard. But no, it's not so easy. You have to create another connection. So in this case, I go back to my remote access, or you can change this connection as well if you don't want to see the editor. I will just create a new one. So I'll go to my pass-through again, and this time HTTP, I will type Node-RED dashboard. Okay. Port again is 1881. I will not put /dashboard here, but I will show you where you can do that. Click on save and let's refresh that. And let's say I want to take the page one, so I will just copy this path, /dashboard /page one. This is the path I will copy. And now if you open the dashboard here, you can go to configure. You will see that it will not open the dashboard yet because I have not configured the path. Click on the paths here, and you can just label it again Node-RED dashboard and put the path here. Click add path, click on save, and now you can see that it's already editor. I will refresh it again, and now you will see here the path has been updated. Now I have Node-RED dashboard. If I click on this one, you will directly see your dashboard. And this is just defining the path to your address. Now you see the dashboard is here. Okay, so this is how you can remotely visualize your Node-RED dashboard in Cumulocity. This is just one example. If you have Grafana, you can visualize Grafana. Doesn't matter which app you're running in your edge device, you can visualize that here. This is just a way to show you how you can remotely access it. So we have seen SSH, we have seen pass-through. Coming back to the presentation. Next topic, device management. This is a very important topic. Now if I say I want to update my Node-RED remotely, okay, so if I have some changes, maybe I need to completely change my dashboard, and I want to deploy that from my cloud to my edge device. How can I do that? So let's see, in this case, first we create an example. So I have this one dashboard here running, and I want to create a button here to refresh my table. That's my update dashboard, okay? What I will do is first I will save this copy. So I will just go to export, and I will download it. And this is downloaded into my computer. And I will rename this to flow without button. I will just rename that, right? I will show you that file later on. And now I create a button here. I take a button, and this button is going to refresh my chart. So this button name, I will call it refresh. And I give it a group, and the payload is an empty array. This is how you refresh the chart. I connect that to my temperature and to my level. And if I go to my dashboard node, this should be in the end. Click on deploy, and now you will see that here. Let's refresh. Oh, this is because I changed this before. Let's merge it and deploy it. And now you can see that the button is here, and this is just going to refresh my table. Okay, this is my new update. Let's say I want to deploy that from the cloud, not from local. So what I will do is, this is just an example. So now I will first save this program as well. Export and download. Now it's downloaded into my computer, and I will save it as flow with button. Okay, so now I have two files, and I will show you my desktop shortly. So there you go. That's my desktop. And I have here a folder. I will delete it. Let's make a new folder. Node-RED flows. And I downloaded both of these packages. One was with button, one was without button. So I will just create a new folder because I need the same file name, which I can't do that here. So I will write here with button. I push that inside this one, and a new folder without button. So both of the files are here. Now I'll go inside the file. I will just rename that to flows. This is important because the default name of the flow file should be flows. There you go. Now we have two files inside this one. Just minimize that. This is just a backup. Now I will remove this button. So now we have our Node-RED dashboard without the button. All right, this we can also visualize it from here. Now I want to deploy that with the button. What I can do is, first thing is, if you want to remotely deploy Node-RED flows, you need to install a plugin. Okay, this plugin is called Node-RED plugin. If you Google that, you will find this in somewhere. Node-RED plugin should be in their GitHub. Let me see. There you go. This is the ThinEdge TH Node-RED plugin. This you need to install. Okay, and you can see that this is the GitHub repository, and you can find this file over here as well as a Git file. But there is an intelligent way to install that from Cumulocity. This is what I'm going to show you. So you go to Cumulocity, and we are in the device management, and here you can check the management, and here you can see firmware repository, software repository, and configuration repository. We go to software repository, and here we can install this plugin directly. So you can see that I was doing some testing. I will just delete this one, and delete this one. So let's take another software. So I click on Add Software from here, and now I have to put the name of the software. This name of the software should match this repository name. So I can just copy this one just to avoid any mistake. Now we have the name. Description, you can write anything that you like. For remote Node-RED flow deployment. Type, I don't have to mention. Software type. Software type as an apt. Okay, that's Alpine package. Version, I will take latest, and that it will download the latest version from my GitHub. That's why I put latest. And here you don't have to provide any binary. You don't have to provide a path. Just put a blank white space. Click on Add Software. So this will just add the software in your main account, not in the device yet. This is the main software repository where you keep collecting the software. Okay. Now I will add another software. In this case, I will call it old flow. This is the old flow without the button. I will call it old flow. Okay. Description, I will write Node-RED dashboard without the button. Device type, I don't have to put device. Software type, I have to write Node-RED minus flows. This is important. Okay. And now version you can put if you like 1.0. Now you will upload your JSON file here. So I will click here, go to my desktop, and I have this Node-RED flows here. This was without the button, right? I will take this flow here, add software. So I add another software now. Go back to software repository. Now add another software. In this case, I will call it new flow, and description Node-RED dashboard with button. Software type, Node-RED flows again is the same version. I can put 1.0, and here I will upload my new file with button. Add software. All right. Now we have three softwares. One is TH Node-RED plugin, which is required to deploy the flows, and these two are the flows. All right. And now how to deploy this one? Now we go to the device, and we go into our edge device, and here you can see a software. Okay. Now here you can install the software. So we can see now all these softwares are here. First, we will install this plugin. This is very important. Click on install. You can see that it's here, and then click on apply. Now it will start applying the changes. So you can see that applying changes, it's doing something in the background. And here, if you click on that, you can see the status as well. So it is pending. It is going to apply soon. And once it is being applied, you can see that now it's applied. So our software is installed so fast. Now we can deploy the flows. But remember, my Node-RED is running at the port 1881. If it is running at 1880, I can directly deploy my flows. But the default port in this configuration of this plugin is 1880. So I have to change that. Okay, this is mandatory. So I can again go to my smart terminal, and I can go to the path which I have written here. There's a specific path where you can find this configuration file. So let me just copy that, or I can just directly access it. Sudo nano, and I paste the path. So this path, you can see that it's etc th plugin, and inside this th configuration file, I can open this. I change that to 1881. So let me just go there, and I will save it. I don't have to restart the agent. This will work as it is. Now what I can go back to my software, and I can install the software now. So let's see, we install the new flow. So I can just select this new flow that I uploaded, click on install, and apply changes. And this should now apply the changes, applied, and now I can come back here, and I can refresh. You can see that I already have a button. Okay, and here as well, if I refresh this one, you can see my button is there. There you go. This is a refresh button, right? This is how quickly you can update your Node-RED flow. This is just one example for Node-RED flow. You can also install other software packages. Now, if I want to go back to my old software package, I can go to Install Software again, and this is my old package. Click on Install and Apply. Fraction of seconds, this is done, and now you can see that I have to refresh it, and now my button is gone. Okay, so this is how you can quickly roll back to the changes which you wanted before. So this was about the last topic of device management, where we have seen how we can update the Node-RED using the software repository. We can also update the plugin, and then we update the Node-RED flows. Okay, so now you can imagine there's a lot of things that you can do with Cumulocity and ThinEdge. So I would say go ahead, download ThinEdge, try and play around with your Raspberry Pi, Revolution Pi, or any other edge device that you have, and send the data to the cloud and see how easy it is to work with Cumulocity, right? And ThinEdge is an open source platform, so you can just download it right now from the website and start playing around, all right? And if you came across any problems, you can write me in the comment of the video. I will check the comment and I'll get back to you, all right? So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a bit long, I know, but something new might be something new for you, all right? So thank you for watching. Have fun. Bye-bye.